Everyone, it's Essie here with a process video for Lottie Loves Paper using the beautiful Amy Tangerine collection Shine On, and I'm going to do a double page spread in my traveller's notebook. I've cut 2 pieces of white basil cardstock, the same page as the pages in my traveller's notebook, and I'm using separate pieces because I want to do lots of mixed media, and the traveller's notebook pages are quite thin and they wouldn't take the mixed media terribly well. They're just too thin. So I've started by applying a layer of gesso, and I'm just using an old credit card store card to apply it because I like the texture that applying it that way gives. And you can see I've got a tab punch there, which I've used to punch lots of white shapes out of just some scrap basil card, and I'm then going in and punching lots of shapes as well from the Amy Tangerine 6x6 papers. I'm just using a mixture. I've got some scraps that I'm punching the smaller shapes from. I'm just going in and punching a random selection of those papers, which I'm going to use to create a collage background. Now, this is a technique I've used in my art journals, and I thought it would transfer really well into my traveller's notebook to use as a background for my photographs. So I'm applying some Ranger glue and seal to my page, and then I'm going to just arrange the white tabs onto that background. I'm sorry about the lighting. You can't see the white on white terribly well, but once I start applying colour, hopefully you'll be able to see the texture that just applying those shapes to the background gives. Just going in and applying a few more tabs in the gaps. Some of them I'm putting coming off the edge so that they're not all complete shapes on my page. And once I've applied all of the white shapes that I want to, I'm going to leave those to dry and just go over with a thin layer of gesso to blend those into the background. And it also then creates a surface to apply some ink. So I've got some spun sugar distress oxide there, and I've just applied it to a piece of packaging and spritzed some water on it. And I'm using the packaging to smoosh that onto my page, and I'm trying to sort of get it so that it goes into the along the edges of the tab shapes, and just highlight some of those edges and give some definition and some background colour. Just smooshing that second page as well and dabbing on and adding some more colour. Again, I'm really sorry you can't see the colour terribly well. It's quite pale to start with, but I do add more colour, and hopefully you'll see it better as the video progresses as I add more colour. Just trimming off the edges there, and then I'm coming in with my distress tool, my blending tool, and adding some more pink around the edges and just over the top as well. Now I've got some peacock feathers, and I'm watering that down and splattering that over the pink, and then using a baby wipe just to dab that off, soften those splatters a bit, and just smooch out the colour a little. And that applies a little. I didn't use the packaging technique for this colour because I wanted to have a bit more control over where the colour was and not have the colour all over the background, because I didn't want to sort of completely cover up the pink. So now I'm using the glue and seal again to apply those patterned pieces, and I'm just again randomly placing those over the page, and once that's dry I'm using some watered down gesso just to paint over the top to blend those pieces into the background, soften the edges and just soften the colours, because this is a background I'm creating and I want the photographs to be able to sit on top of that without getting lost. So just softening it all down with that layer of gesso. And now I've got some hickory smoke distress oxide again, and I'm using the foam piece from my blending tool just to go in and add some colour in hickory smoke as well. And there you can see I've completed the same on both sheets and I've let those dry. And now I've got this roller stamp from One Canoe 2, which was in a previous Lottie Loves Paper kit. I think it was an add-on, and it's got some lovely phrases on one side. So I'm just stamping those phrases over the background. And I don't actually get, some of them aren't very perfect stamps, but I don't worry about that too much. And I'm just choosing the paper that I want to map my photograph on. So again, this is some of the 12 by 12 paper from the Amy Tangerine Shine On collection. And I'm just matting both photographs onto the same patterned paper just to lift them from the background a little. And obviously the papers all coordinate beautifully because they're all from the same collection. Just trimming that down a little bit more. And now I'm just going to fiddle around with the placement of my photographs. You'll see my photographs are of a leaving do that we had in August for my manager, who moved on to a new job. And I've put little circles of paper over people's faces because I didn't see people. I don't have permission to sort of share photographs of them. So that's why there's those little white blobs on my photographs. And just using some fun foam sheets to apply the photographs to give a little bit of dimension. And now I'm going to use a chipboard sticker and place that under that left-hand side photograph for my title. And before I do anything more, I'm going to stick the pages into the notebook. I don't quite know what's happening with my lighting here. It's going, I don't quite know what's going on because it seems to be fading in and out, and I'm not aware of why that was happening, so I apologise for that. It's only in this little bit of a clip. It goes back to normal in a minute. You can see I've applied some double-sided tape down each side of my page, and I'm just lifting the very corner bits, and that means I can place my paper exactly where I want it before committing to sticking it down, and then just peeling the rest of the double-sided tape from underneath before I stick it down, so that if I make a mistake, I haven't got to rip the whole lot up. So I've been through the Shine On ephemera pack and picked out these black and white flowers and leaf, which I'm using in the corner of my photographs. And I've also got that So Much Fun tab up in the top right hand corner, and that balances the awesome that I've used on the other page. So just sticking those in with my silicone glue gel. And I just thought that the black and white made a really nice contrast to the colour of the background page. So I've got a white tab punched shape here, which I'm just using to write my journaling on. Those of you that's seen my videos before that know me, I'm not a big writer, don't write loads and loads. So just writing a little bit about the evening and inking the edges with some distress oxide and hickory smoke just to blend that in so it's not quite so stark against the inky background. I've got that roller stamp out again, and I'm going to use, it's a lovely stamp because half of it's the little sentiments and half of it's the dates, so really versatile. I'm just using my acrylic block under my page there so that I've got a flat steady surface to stamp on, because obviously I've got pages made behind the page that I wanted to stamp on, so it wouldn't have been an even surface. And just to finish off, I'm going through the sticker book and pulling out some little leaf spray stickers to fix around those flowers in the corners of my photograph. These stickers are lovely because they're on a clear background, so when you stick them down you sort of only see the image that's on the sticker, and they're really pretty. And I'm just also going to add some little individual flowers dotted around one up in the top left there, that's it, and another one under the word awesome. And that's my double page spread finished. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you all again here soon. Bye.